Hey everybody, I'm Jason and this is Jay's Project Garage. Sorry I haven't been around a whole lot lately. Haven't made a video in at least a couple weeks. I've just been super busy. I did 4 shows in 2 weeks for fireworks. Um, I was tired. I actually wound up sick last week. Um, I'm one of those guys that doesn't miss work for anything. I mean, I've worked with a broken foot. Actually broke it at work and only missed 2 hours of work while I was running, going to get it checked out. Got an air cast put on and went right back to work. I'm just stupid like that, I guess. But I missed Monday and Tuesday this week. I wasn't feeling well at all. I don't think it was. I had COVID back in November, and my taste buds and my smells still aren't right. And there was half the people at work were sick too, and my wife actually took a COVID test because I didn't think I wanted to know. Hers came back negative, so if she doesn't have it, then I didn't. I think it was just the flu, maybe. But whatever it was, it affected my taste and smell again, even worse. And now it's even worse than it was, so I don't know. But I have been working. I got the handrail, well, part of the handrail done. I still got to put the boards up on both sides of the stairs, and I'll show you a shot of that here. And then on top of everything else I've had going on, I had to get the horse trailer ready because it was fair week. Today's the last day, so we've got to go finish a few things there this afternoon. Kids did great. They won two champions and a reserve champion for goats. They won a bunch of champions and grand champion best in show with chickens. So they won a champion for pottery, and I mean they brought home some hardware. That's pretty awesome. I'm really proud of them. They put a lot of work in, taking care of animals all year long, and it's really cool to see it pay off for them. But here's a shot of some of the trophies that's just from the chicken part. And then last week I was cruising Facebook Marketplace. That's a really bad thing when you got a little bit of cash in your pocket and not really looking for anything in particular, but oh, look at that. So I've been looking for, so I bought a boat last year. I bought it from the in-laws. It's a 21-foot Regal ski boat. It's nice. I mean, it's got new upholstery, and I mean, it's a nice boat. He took it out, decided he didn't want it. Hey, Jason, you want to buy this thing? Yeah, the kids would love to have a boat, and the price is right, and I mean, it's nice. So yeah, I'll buy it. So I bought it. It was midsummer, getting a little bit late in the year. We just didn't have time to take it out. So come October, I decided to winterize it, and I got down in the engine compartment and cracks in the block and both manifolds. So the year before, he didn't winterize it right. And you know what the saying, nobody will screw you like family. So anyway, I've got another block. And if anybody knows anything about boats, there isn't a single thing for them that's cheap. So just the exhaust manifolds are $1,500 a set, and that's for fairly cheap ones. I could have put through the whole exhaust on it with headers and all kinds of crap, and it was going to be $1,500. And then I still had an engine that was broken to deal with. I've got blocks. I can put a short block together for it, no problem. But back to Marketplace. So I'm just cruising through, and I look at engines and stuff all the time, and cars and whatever. And there was a 350 that was a boat engine. It's a marine engine. It's complete. It was complete in the picture. It had manifolds on it and everything. Spark arrestor still on top of the throttle body. Mine's actually carbureted, but this one is injected. mean, it doesn't really matter. I'll just take the stuff off the engine that's in the boat now. Um, from the pictures, the manifolds look great. So this is on a Friday morning. I found this thing, called the wife, said, hey, I'm gonna go get this engine. It's in North Vernon. If anybody's from Indiana, that's where the engine was. And it was almost 2 hours from work because of back roads and getting caught behind semis and everything else. But so I go to North Vernon, look at the engine. Manifolds look great. The engine's clean as hell. I mean, it's totally complete. I start looking and it's got a crack in the block. But it's only like about this long. The engine that's in the boat now, both sides of the block are bowed out. It's got cracks all over the place. I mean, it's screwed. There's no fixing it. This one, the crack is small enough where I think it's totally repairable, but he did say something about milky oil. My guess is it split a cylinder. We can take it apart and look at it, but for what I paid for this engine, I paid $500 for it. And even if all I get out of it is a set of exhaust manifolds, it was still a hell of a deal. And I've got all these other parts laying around I can sell, or whatever. I don't even know what cylinder heads they use on this. I thought they used Vortec heads, but they aren't. They're smooth on the ends. There's no defining characteristics or anything about them. So I'll take you guys in the back and I'll show you the engines and I'll tell you a little bit more of the story. Okay, here is the, shut up chicken. So I got the back door open on the shop. It's right next to one of the coupes. So you'll just have to deal with it like I do. $350 I picked up for the boat. Looked it over really well while I was there. The manifolds look great. Like I said, the block has a crack in it, but only on one side. This side of the block is perfect. It's up against the other engine. I can't really get down in there and show you guys right now. But when we get this thing up on a stand and start taking it apart, we'll both be surprised. We'll all be surprised together because I'm guessing it's got a split cylinder. But I mean, everything is on this thing. So really, really happy with what I got for the money. While I was there, I had another deal come up. Marketplace. The guy had two 4302s that he was selling dirt cheap. Picked them up for $100 a piece. Couldn't say no to that. I think, judging by the valve covers and the fact that they have roller valve train in them, I'm pretty sure these are early SN95 engines. I had thought that they might have been Explorer by the pictures, but they don't have GT43 or 4-bar heads on them. I'll have to pull the valve covers to see what cylinder heads that they do have, but they're really not anything special. They're just they're 5-liter roller motors, and I got them for $100 a piece. This one does not turn. That one does. And I don't know if you guys remember from another video, that 289, it does not turn. So I think it'll be fun to take this one and that one apart, so we can get a good look at what these engines look like when these guys are trying to do, the Will It Run, rescue whatever videos, and when they're putting the concoction of Marvin mystery oil and transmission fluid and stuff in and see what happens. Let's see what the cylinder walls look like before they attempt that. So I think that'll be fun. But we'll be putting these things up on stands and doing tear downs. We're going to be tearing this one down, and I've got a bunch of other stuff that we're going to tear down too. Yeah, stay tuned for that. Okay, so I crawled down and I got a picture of the crack that's in the block. It's fairly close to the deck. I don't know if it's going to be repairable or not. I've got a machinist buddy of mine that can look at it. If it just split a cylinder and it's just got that crack in it, might be able to put a sleeve in it and fix that and reuse it. I don't know. I've got other blocks too, so we'll just have to figure out what we want to do. But here's some pictures of the engine that's in the boat now, and the cracks that are in both sides of the block. Looks like head gaskets are leaking, and both exhaust manifolds. So we can stick a fork in that engine because she is done, son. There ain't no saving. I'm just hoping the cylinder heads. And even that doesn't really matter because I got a really nice set of Vortec heads we can put on, maybe a little bit more power. I don't know. Supposedly the boat will do about 60 on the water, and that is more than fast enough for me. So, I don't know. I got a buddy of mine that's really big into boats, and he's telling me all this stuff I should do, and I'm like, I just want to pull the kids around. I don't need to do that at 90 miles an hour. We'll see. But I did make some progress on the 69, and I'll show you the floor and kind of where I'm at right now. So I started mocking the body up, and I'm starting on the driver's side. We got the door hung on it. These aftermarket doors they're special, but I'll show you more about that here in just a few. The floor's all finished up and in primer. I'm really happy with how everything turned out. We're not too far off being ready to seam seal, but I'm gonna work on the bottom side of the car first. I got some cleaning to do, and I'm gonna get the whole bottom side in primer, and then I still have to finish working that because I beat the hell out of it with the ball peen, but that's an easy fix. All right, sorry about the fan noise. It's getting a little toasty. So I got the aftermarket doors put on this thing, and I'm not super happy with the way they fit. These things have a plate that sits inside the door that just floats, and it's got holes in it that are threaded, and when you bolt the hinge on, that's what the bolts go into. There's a lot of slop in the holes on the door. There's some slop in the holes on the hinge itself, and then the holes on the body are the same as the doors. They've got a plate that basically sandwiches the body. But there's just a ton of adjustment on these things. But the way the aftermarket doors are made, they're not going to be identical to a factory, an original anyway. So the holes may not be in the exact right spot, the skin may not be on there in the exact right spot, the shell may not have the exact right shape, and you're gonna fight trying to get your gaps and everything the way they need to be. You know, I've been doing this stuff for a long time, and I know a lot of tips and tricks on how to make parts fit. But one thing I noticed on these is the holes in the door that the bolts go through, they're in the wrong spot. I can't get the front of the door down low enough to set my gap on the rocker. And that's the first thing that you want to do. Let me move you guys just a little bit. The first place you want to start your adjustment is at the front of the door at the rocker. The rocker itself kicks in right where the fender comes down. You can't change where the rocker is, and you can't change where the quarter panel is. I mean, obviously you can, but when you're fitting a door, those are fixed. So you have to make the door fit them. So if you start here, then you know the front of the door, height-wise, is where it needs to be. You can set the pitch of the door this way to make it flush. You can watch your gap up here on the A-pillar, and this is really tight, so I'm gonna have to bring it out. And then you can start playing with the door adjustment this way and this way a little bit to make it fit the quarter panel. So remember, always start there and then work your way back. You'll see, guys, even on new cars, a lot of the stuff is positive fit, but there's still some adjustment in them. I can't tell you how many times I've seen guys build the front end of a car and then try putting a door on and nothing fits right. Doors first, that bottom corner first, and then you adjust everything off of it. That's kind of, I keep saying that word, but that's your reference. Okay, so down here at the bottom, I've got the flush pretty good. It is too high, so the whole door needs to come down. And then this gap up here it's almost touching. There should be, I don't know, probably 3/16, not quite a quarter of an inch between this and the body. But my alignment on the quarter panel is actually pretty good, flush-wise. So that tells me this door has a twist in it. Okay, so The back of my door is fitting really well, flush, and it's fitting good here, but it's too tight there. That tells me that the door shell is twisted, and that's actually really, really common. You don't know what happened to this door after it left the factory. I mean, it was in a box, went through warehouses, shipping and everything else. If it got dropped on a corner or something, the whole door could have twisted. There's not a whole lot to these things. It's an inner shell with a skin crimped to it. There's no intrusion beams, there's no anti-flutter beams, there's nothing in here. It's just an empty shell. Completely different than new cars. And even new cars, I've gotten doors lots of times that have had some twist in them. It's easy to fix on most cars. On original doors, you'll see twist a lot, because think of how many times this thing got open and closed, and how many times it was hitting the weather strip, how many times somebody had the door open and they leaned on it. It's very, very common for a door to have some twist in it this way. Not a big deal. Basically, to fix it, you're going to take your knee and you're going to put it at the bottom of the door, and you're going to pull, and that'll twist the whole door. Or you can go to the inside and you can do the exact same thing. Put your knee down at the bottom and pull the door towards you, and these things will move around really, really easily. So if you've got your flush good on the front of your rocker, and you've got your gap good on the A-pillar, but it's not fitting the quarter panel right, just twist the door. Make it fit. But it's flush, it's good here, and it's good at the bottom, but the center of it's bowing out. Or the opposite. It's fitting good here, but it's out one way or the other, you know. It's hammer and dolly time. This one isn't too bad. The shapes aren't exactly right, but it's not bad on the quarter. I'm still gonna have to work with it a little bit. I'll probably work through that on the next video, because I'm sure this one's getting obnoxiously long as it is. But the main reason I want to spend so much time and make this door fit, I'm sure we've all seen the TV shows where they're doing restoration or custom work, and they're slathering body filler over the entire car. They're setting gaps with using body filler and everything else. I'm not a big fan of Bondo buggies. I don't want to send this guy down the road and have him open his door into something and have a big chunk of Bondo come off. Same with here, have him get into his car and bump into it with his cell phone or something and have a big chunk of Bondo come out. I want that edge of the quarter panel to be steel. I want the back edge of the door to be steel. So I'm going to make the edges of this door fit however I need to, so that the edges are perfect and flush and the gaps are right, and then I'll work the rest of the door to the edges. If that makes sense. No, I'm gonna do all this stuff on video so you guys will see what I'm talking about. But in my opinion, that's one of the most important things, is to set the edges of panels where they actually need to be, and then you work the door to them. Okay, just got back from the fairgrounds. Had to, the kids actually get, I don't remember what it's called. They actually get a little bit of money for their projects. My wife called it something, but I don't remember. It wasn't much. I mean, for all the stuff the kids did, they got like 15 bucks a piece or something. That's really pretty cool. It's I would have thought the awards would have been enough of a reward, but so funny story about my son. For some reason, kids just randomly walk up and start talking to him. I don't know why. It just happened Thursday night. We had to be there at 11 to bring the goats home, because they have to wait till the midway closes. They want to keep the animals there as long as they can. We're there at 11 o'clock. We're loading up goats, and some random kid just walks up and starts talking to Mason. And after the kid walked away, I was like, "Who was that?" He's like, "I don't know, Dad. Just some kid." I asked him last year, we were at the Demolition Derby, and some random kid just comes up and sits down next to him and starts talking, and I kind of nudge him. I was like, "Who is that?" He's like, "I don't know." So I asked him later on that night, I was like, why do kids just randomly come up and start talking to you? And he looked at me with a straight face, just, because I'm cool, Dad. How do you argue with that? I mean, he is pretty cool. But I think that's it for this video. I'm gonna keep working. I've got a whole bunch of stuff planned. Like I talked about a couple videos ago, I'm gonna start giving away my parts hoard. So you guys help get me to help me get up there in subscribers, and I'm gonna start giving stuff away because there's a lot of this crap that I know I'm never gonna use. I got brand new sets of pistons. I've got headers. I got a bunch of stuff. May as well share the wealth. There's not really any reason for me to hold on to stuff that I'm not even going to use. So, in the meantime, you guys get out in the shop and work on your projects. You have a great day, and I will see you next week.